and spent hours going through things before Glenn woke up.
Yeah. Okay. So the murder happened in 1986, but it wasn't until 1989 that Glenn was arrested.
Holy shit.
Uh-huh. And at this time, he had moved and was living with Carol.
Was that the second girlfriend?
Yes.
What happened to Nancy?
Nancy was Neil's wife.
Right.
Who got upset that Glenn was still seeing Carol.
It's hard to keep them straight.
It really is. During the trial, it came out that Glenn met Debbie, his original first girlfriend, at a hotel the night of the murder, probably Red Roof Inn. Then he went to the club where he ran into his other girlfriend, Carol, who was with her husband at the time because she hadn't left him yet, which pissed off Glenn.
Oh, because she was still with him?
Yes. So when he gets home, he's confronted by Betty, and a fight starts, and this is what the prosecution is saying.
Right.
She pulls out his hair, and she pulls on a chain that he is known to wear around his neck, which is what caused the marks on the back of his neck.
Oh.
After choking her, he used a ligature to finish her off. He then washed her face, changed her clothes, and drove the clothing somewhere to get rid of it. That's why his car didn't have any dew on it. Because his car was gone at the time. Once he got back, he staged the scene, accidentally putting the ladder the wrong way.
And not climbing up it.
Right. And then he would have hit himself in the head or have Neil come and help him hurt himself. Well, the defense, they said that one or two druggies broke in, killed Betty, and knocked Glenn out.
Druggies?
Yeah, that's what they said.
They had no basis for that whatsoever. They just threw druggies out there?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
After 6 hours of deliberation, the jury convicted Glenn of third-degree murder because they didn't believe it was premeditated. Mm-hmm. Glenn ended up appealing this, and he got let go on $200,000 bail.
What?
Uh-huh, before his sentencing.
Oh.
So he was let out. Well, the sentencing wasn't for 2 years.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
He got convicted.
Right.
Released on bail?
Because he appealed it?
That doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't understand any of that stuff anyway.
I definitely don't
so
either.
That just seems completely wrong.
But for whatever reason...
Right.
He got let go on $200,000 bail, and 2 years later, in 1992, he was sentenced to 8 to 20 years. After being denied parole 5 times, he finally admitted to killing Betty, which apparently helped convince the parole board to end up approving his parole.
Because he was finally taking responsibility for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems weird to me, because in my opinion, we can save it for the after show. In 2005, so after serving 13 years, he was released to a halfway house for anger management treatment.
In 2005?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't find...
And what's his full name?
Glenn Woolcipher.
Glenn Woolcipher.
Glenn with one N.
And we'll put pictures of him up on social media. Ladies, if you're trying to date somebody that looks a little bit like Tom Selleck, but very much older, what is he now, in his 70s?
I don't know, something.
Steer clear of this one.
Yeah.
If your mom, your grandma, somebody's trying to date somebody looking like Tom Selleck but older, come check out our Instagram, Glenn Woolcipher. I just don't like the idea that somebody could potentially go out and date this guy and have no idea that he killed his wife.
I found his Facebook page.
I will post...
he has no picture or photos or friends.
How do you know anything. It's him?
Because it said he studied in Georgetown and Scranton University.
Okay, fuck it. Let's post that. We'll do a screenshot of that, too.
Yeah, there's not much information there.
I just think people need to be aware. I wish that you could... I mean, obviously, you can Google his name and see all these things, but...
Yeah. Well, the daughter, Danielle, she apparently is close with her father, and as of 2020, she had a 10-year-old son.
I mean, I don't blame her.
No, not at all. But I saw that there was, tie up all the characters.
And that sucks for her, yeah.
It really does. Carol, she ended up marrying someone else.
Good for her.
And isn't with Glenn. And there was a book and a movie called Murder at 75 Burr Street, based on that story. But that's the cheating dentist, Glenn Woolcipher.
Wow.
Who killed his wife.
Poor Betty. I'm not going to lie, there's a shocking amount of similarities in your story and mine.
Okay.
That's the thing that sucks about not knowing what the other one's going to bring. I wish I had something that was, way different so we could offer, two different, stories. But no, I didn't know. Mine is the murder of Peter Porco.
Never heard of it.
I got my information from Murderpedia, of course, except for this Murderpedia was just cut and paste from Wikipedia, so...
Oh, that's annoying.
Really just Wikipedia. Generation Y did an episode on this. I started it, they started talking, and I turned it off, so I didn't really get anything from them, but if you want to hear a more in-depth, they do like an hour and a half on this topic. There was a Forensic Files episode... Times Union, which is a local paper to where this happened, I ended up having to pay freaking 99 cents a month to be able to access their information. I wonder how many... We need to check our bank account, because I guarantee you there's at least 4 or 5 small town online newspapers that I'm paying monthly for right now.
Okay.
And the most information came from this badass article on Medium.com written by Lori Johnston. She did a really good in-depth coverage on this case. So this all starts the morning of Monday, November 15th, 2004. Peter Porco did not show up for work at the courthouse in Albany, New York, which was very unlike Peter. He was 52 and he lived in Delmar, New York with his wife Joan. They had 2 college-age sons and they lived a very stereotypical middle-class, quote-unquote, American life.
Okay.
Like I said, he worked in the courthouse and he was a court clerk. Don't ask me what they do. I have no idea.
Okay.
But his wife Joan was a speech pathologist, and Peter was described as very dependable and a big family man. So like I said, not showing up for work
was strange.
Was very strange. So strange that it prompted his coworkers to call in a welfare check almost immediately when he didn't show.
Okay.
So police respond to the welfare check. Upon entering, police find Peter's body laying in a pool of blood by the front door with a large head wound. Police also discover a fireman's axe laying on the ground in the bedroom, and they quickly labeled that the murder weapon because of the wound on Peter's head. And to everyone's shock, also in the bedroom, they find Joan laying in bed, also with a major head wound and severe trauma to her face. And I probably should say this as a trigger warning. There is a lot of gory descriptions I'm going to give in this case. If you're not okay with that, I would just skip this altogether. But Joan is laying in bed still, as if she were sleeping, but she has a axe wound that starts at the top of her skull that goes down her left eye and has broken her skull completely open, exposing her brain.
Yeah.
But she's still alive.
Oh my God.
And not only is she still alive, she's conscious.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Probably thinking that she wasn't going to be alive long, Detective Christopher Bowdish, B-O-W-D-I-S-H?
I don't know.
But I'm going to say Bowdish. Detective Christopher Bowdish began asking her as many questions as he possibly could. He asked her if she knew her attacker, and she nodded yes. He asked if it was a family member, and she nodded yes. Using a family picture in her room, he points to her older son, and she shakes her head no. And when he points to her younger son, Christopher Porco, she nods her head yes.
Oh, shit.
And before I talk about Christopher Porco, I'm going to cover the rest of the crime scene. By walking around, police can see that the alarm system by the front door has been smashed. There was a window screen cut open, and the telephone line outside the house had also been cut. It didn't appear to be a burglary because Peter's wallet was found, and there was nothing moved around or anything like that in it. Also, Joan was still wearing a bunch of jewelry, so if it was a burglary...
They would have taken that.
Right, and nothing had been tousled or gone through.
Yeah.
So armed with all this information, they put out an APB for Christopher Porco. So at this point, Christopher was 21 years old, and he was a college student at the University of Rochester, 230 miles or 370 kilometers away, which was about a 3-hour drive.
Okay.
Like I said, from the outside in, this family looked very typical middle-class American family. Loving parents who had been married for 30 years, 2 kids, a dog, just the usual shit. And outsiders described the boys as both really respectful, upstanding kids. In fact, Jonathan, the older brother, who was 25 at the time, was serving as a naval officer.
Oh.
And if you were to ask anyone who casually knew them, the idea of this brutal attack, let alone it being carried out by one of their sons, would just be completely unheard of. However, people who knew the family the closest said that Christopher had always been a little odd.
Mm.
In fact, he was pretty opposite from Jonathan. They said that growing up, he never really expressed emotion. He never cared about getting into trouble, and when he would get into trouble, he never showed any remorse.
Oh.
And that, my friend, a psychopath makes.
Yeah.
Well, before police could even reach out to Christopher, a reporter for the motherfucking Times Union, the place where I pay 99 cents a month now, had already called his dorm asking for a comment about his parents' death.
Oh.
So after receiving that call, Christopher turns around and calls 911, and there ensues the strangest 911 call I've ever heard.
Okay.
And I have the audio, so I'm going to play it now.
Hi, my name is Peter Porco. I was just called by the Times Union saying that my parents were found dead this afternoon. I was wondering if you had any information for me.
Hey, Chris, whereabouts are you?
I'm at school in Rochester, New York.
Okay, you're in Rochester?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a phone number there, Chris?
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay, are you in a dorm there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And you're hearing from the Times Union?
Yeah, they called me and said my parents were found, I guess, I don't know, they didn't say how or anything.
So that was the first 911 call. They then transfer him, I think, to... Because he was in Rochester, I think they transfer him to Del Mar, where his parents are, that 911 unit.
That makes sense.
So here's the second one.
When was the last time you said you came down to see your parents?
About 3 weeks ago. It was on the weekend. I can give you a date. I have to figure it out. I'm not really sure.
Okay, but about 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay, and the email, what's going on with your email? You said you emailed him today, but you didn't get a response?
Oh, yeah, I emailed him this afternoon. My dad at work.
Okay.
About college loan stuff.
About what?
College loan stuff.
Oh, about college loans?
Yeah.
All right. Let me just... So you will be here probably... You're going to go right to Albany Med?
I don't know. I don't even know where my mom is, but...
Yeah, she is at Albany Med.
Okay. Do you know her condition?
No, because I haven't talked to her.
The only reason why I wanted to play it is because for someone who just found out that his parents were brutally attacked
He's very calm.
Killed, he...
Well, he doesn't know how.
That's true. Well, later that evening, Christopher is brought into the police department for questioning. It said that they released the video of his interview, but I couldn't find it. Instead, I found the transcript for it, and I read it, but not all 345 pages of it.
Fuck
because
no.
It was a 6-hour interview.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of skimmed it, which I also paid a freaking $1 to do. And I'll give you just the gist of what it was. So Christopher said that he had driven from college in Rochester to a place called Slingerlands, which is right next to Del Mar. And that's where his girlfriend lived. So it's just a town over.
Gotcha.
On that Friday. He had stayed the night at his girlfriend's house Friday night, left the following day around 3 p.m. Saturday, and went by his parents' house just to say hi, but neither of them were there. So he fed his dog and drove back to Rochester, where he stayed Saturday and Sunday night, and this is now Monday.
Okay.
He said that Saturday and Sunday night, he had actually slept on the couch both nights in the dorm.
Okay.
The detective goes on to talk about some information that he had gathered, like how Christopher was telling a bunch of his dorm roommates that his parents were super rich and he was set to inherit a bunch of money if they died.
Oh, shit.
Which was not true.
Oh.
His dad was a court clerk. His mom was a speech pathologist.
Right.
So it's not like they were Rockefellers. That made the detective asked him if he was a pathological liar, to which he did not really respond to that question. He did say, "I know I'm wrong for saying that. I don't know really how I got started on it. It started in high school," talking about lying about how rich his parents were. The detective finally reveals that his mother Joan is still alive and in a medically induced coma, but before she was taken away, she had nodded yes that Christopher was the one that attacked them. But Christopher stands his ground. He says, "I don't know why she would say that. I wasn't there. I have no idea. I'd like to hear her say that."
Yeah.
Like he doesn't believe that maybe she said that. But at no point does Christopher get upset. He doesn't get angry when they push him. He doesn't get sad when they talk about his father's death. He doesn't get even confused whenever they talk about his mom saying that he did it.
Yeah.
He basically shows no emotion the entire 6 hours.
Like people said when he was a kid.
Yes. So police do their police thing, and they take his clothes, they photograph his arms and stuff, and then they took his fingerprints and pictures, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All their
police thing.
Yeah, their police thing. And they really didn't have anything to go on besides the word of a woman who had been hit in the head with an axe.
Yeah.
So they had to let him go. And they did. After that, police tried to hunt down any other leads, any tips that could come in, tried to follow those